Okay, guys. Making sense. I'm Roll Star Sports coming to you live. Um, I'm sitting here in the parking lot before I go get me something to eat. I feel like I'm in a not Red Robin, but I'm sorry, Red Lobster mood. But I wanted to come online if I can get this glaze out of the camera. I wanted to come on live very quickly just to give you one small nugget of an update. I will be back online again later on tonight on some of the moves that the Cowboys have made. I want to talk about, well, first of all, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the content, and I hope that you guys will try to keep me motivated. I thank you guys with all of the love and support. I try to do my best. I try to do the research, and like some of the others, the Mark Jones, the Marks of the world, Mark Holmes of the world, Law Nation, Boss Cowboy, DMV, Dak Attack. There's so many of these guys out here, man, that I'm learning from. And so first and foremost, I really want to appreciate you guys for those that have liked it. I'm trying to get to 50, and I would appreciate it if I could get some kind of help to get that achievement to move into other areas. Having said that, I have been one of the ones that have been talking about this for quite some time, especially with all of the moves that has been taking place around the league. And I'm talking about one Ezekiel Elliott. Now, one report last week has said that the Dallas Cowboys emphatically have put to rest all of the rumors about the Dallas Cowboys reaching out to Ezekiel Elliott to bring in Zeke to the Dallas Cowboys. Now, first and foremost, another report just came out saying that that they believe that the Dallas Cowboys will in fact sign Ezekiel Elliott again to the Dallas Cowboys on to make the roster. Now listen, Dallas is a team, and I know Mike McCarthy is that guy too, but they are a team that like to try if they can, if it is in if it makes dollar sense. Keep familiar players around for success. Now, it should not be far-fetched that the Dallas Cowboys would pull the trigger to bring in Ezekiel Elliott. And I've said it time and time again about bringing in a player like Ezekiel Elliott. You're not looking at the number of yards. You're not looking at him being the all-time leading rusher in the league. The Dallas Cowboys right now need to be focused on productivity. They need to be focused on productivity within the players. You don't bring in a player who is not productive to the point that it makes sense on the scoreboard. Ezekiel Elliott is that player that does make sense as it relates to the scoreboard. Now, in between both end zones, we get it. Ezekiel Elliott is not going to really, shall I say, outrun said defensive players. And I'm not saying Zeke can't. I'm not saying that he won't have his times or he won't have an opportunity at some point in time to take it to the house. But let me tell you this. Ezekiel Elliott is the running back that when you are on the 1 yard line, dare I say 10 yards in, is going to get you what you need in the red zone. Ezekiel Elliott was, and we haven't had that all year. Now that we've been without an Ezekiel Elliott, the Dallas Cowboys has not had that red zone threat. They have not had that red zone threat that make teams fear them when they enter into 10 or 5 beyond the end zone to score touchdowns. Ezekiel Elliott is a touchdown machine. He is what you need, because we could have put teams away in a lot of these games if we just scored 1 or 2 touchdowns. Just 1 or 2 touchdowns when it really mattered. We could have put teams away. We wouldn't have lost certain games, because we do realize that it's going to be certain games that the Cowboys are going to play where it's going to be close. And the difference in winning the game is in a touchdown. Few inches. Now, if we go back and take a look at Tony Pollard. Let's take a look at Tony Pollard last season. In the tough yards that he didn't get. The tough 1 yards that he did not get to make the touchdown. He was denied. One, we're not knocking Tony Pollard, because Tony Pollard is what he is. Ezekiel Elliott is what he is. LaDainian Tomlinson is what he was. Tony Dorsett is what he was. Emmitt Smith is what he was. Roger Craig is what he was. Ricky Waters, Ricky Williams, they were who they were. DeMarco Murray was who he was. Franco Harris was who he was. You know, the list goes on and on. Eddie George was who he was. You get what I'm saying? The kind of player, the kind of running back that you have, they cannot deviate from their DNA. Tony Pollard cannot deviate from his DNA. He's a scat back. He's a Reggie Bush kind of back. Well, the Dallas Cowboys need a kind of running back in the red zone that can get the tough yards to score the touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott is that running back. Ezekiel Elliott is that running back. So what the Cowboys need to do is to really consider bringing back Ezekiel Elliott to take away from the negative percentages in the red zone, that number can go up because you brought in your bell cow to get the tough yards. Nobody wants to tackle Ezekiel Elliott inside the red zone. Very few teams have defenses that can stop Ezekiel Elliott in the red zone. And we need Ezekiel Elliott on this football team to make a difference going down the stretch. Because I, for one, thought that the Dallas Cowboys, heading into the playoffs, they got Tony Pollard, re-signed him, but they coupled Ezekiel Elliott with Rico Dowdle and Ezekiel Elliott to save Zeke for the playoffs. This is what I was under the impression and the mindset of, and this is the reason why the Cowboys is really trying to utilize both backs, same way they did with Marion Barber and married by Julian Jones and I can't think of the brother that got into some issues, who was very, very good. I can't think of his name. The brother that stole the panties out of the Nordstroms and the perfume. He stole some panty and perfume. I can't think. Joseph. His name is Joseph. I know that's his first name. Or his last name. I know it's Joseph. But nonetheless, that was a good brother. That running back right there was a good brother. He could do it. but to have two running backs that you know that you're going to need to get through the season, it is the Ezekiel Elliott's of the world that allows you, when you get into the playoffs, and because you didn't burn him up, is the kind of player that you need going into the playoff to impose your will on defenses to win the game and to go deep in the playoffs. You need Ezekiel Elliott. Plain and simple. You need Ezekiel Elliott, you know. And the Dallas Cowboys must explore that option. Now, as I put my shades on, because I gotta have them since I got them with me, Ezekiel Elliott, it's not gonna cost the Cowboys a lot of money. They will get, instead of looking for the household, or what is it, the home discount. They don't even have to worry about the home discount when it comes to Ezekiel Elliott. They don't have to worry about that, because they can get Ezekiel Elliott for dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. They can get him for dirt cheap, and it will be a bargaining chip, because for one, I really don't believe that the Dallas Cowboys have enough, and they could surprise me. I was pulling for them to get Trey Benson. I think that Trey Benson would be an excellent pickup. But now I'm thinking that because of all of the nuances of changes that the Dallas Cowboys had to go through, out of all the players that left the Dallas Cowboys, out of all the holes that needs to be filled, this is the reason why we are seeing the talks about Ezekiel Elliott resurfacing over and over again. It's because now the Dallas Cowboys got to think on a broader scale about how they're going to spend, how they're going to use their draft picks. Now they got to figure this out, because they got left tackle issues. They got center issue. They don't know whether or not they're going to re-sign the right guard. They have defensive issues. Big Hank is gone. And I was upset about Big Hank leaving, because I thought the Dallas Cowboys should have done everything that they could possibly do to keep Big Hank. He's gone. So now you need a nose guard. You need a right defensive end. You need free safeties. And you may need a cornerback if you don't get Stephon Gilmore back into the fold. So when we're taking the line scheme of things for the Dallas Cowboys, they are now going to have to start to look at, they probably have erased everything and every name on the board. And now they're going to have to refocus on skill positions on the offense and defensive line of scrimmage. Which brings us back to Ezekiel Elliott. The Dallas Cowboys are now going to have to try to figure out, are we going to bring back Zeke? Because, yes, they did sign the Chargers, one of the Chargers running backs. I got to be frank and honest with you. I don't know a doggone thing about that guy. I don't. I do know about Zeke. I do know Rico Dowdle is what you want to call him, a sporadic running back. We haven't seen Rico Dowdle on a consistent basis tote the rock as a bell cow. We haven't seen that. I've seen videos about Deuce Vaughn. But listen, listen, listen. Deuce is not a bell cow. He's not. Deuce can't even get in the second tier consistently when he's behind center. And in fact, I'm a little upset about it because Deuce was supposed to be in the game on the 1 yard line, which would have gave me $80,000 in the what is it, the DraftKings. And I got a feeling that there's somebody called the Dallas Cowboys and said, do not put Deuce in the game. And Deuce was about to come in the game. And they called Deuce out the game and put Rico Dowdle back in the game to run the football in for the 1 yard score. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So that tells you how much trust they have in Deuce. Now, off the bench, coming in, getting a few yards, that's Deuce. A bell cow, no. We need Ezekiel Elliott. And if we're going to thrive, and if this offense, and if Dak is going to get the blocking necessary that he lacks with the running backs, and that's another issue, guys. That's another issue, is that Dak Prescott needs a running back that can pass block, that can block. Tony Pollard is not a blocking back. Rico Dowdle is not a blocking back. And I'm not sure about this new cat that we brought in. I'm not sure. Ezekiel Elliott is a blocking back. Ezekiel Elliott is the running back that you're going to need to take this thing to the next level in the defense. So that's just my take on that tonight. We'll see how the Dallas Cowboys move, how they shake, how they rattle, and how they roll. But one thing is for certain, the two things are for sure. We have some unfinished business with the NFC East. We have some unfinished business with the NFC East. Dan Quinn, No. We'll see you this season. Philly, we'll see you this season. We ain't even really tripping on the Giants. But y'all too. Yeah. Kellen Moore on one side of the field, and half of our shift players on defense is over there, Dan Quinn. And it's going to be real interesting. And our Dallas Cowboys and our fans and Cowboy Nation, hey, we got to make some noise because I will be at the Commanders games this year when the Dallas Cowboys come to town. How about them Cowboys? Bring back Ezekiel Elliott so we can do the doggone thing. I'm Ro Sports. Ro Star Sports. Making sense. We got some work to do, y'all. Let's get busy. See you in a little while. Red Lobsters is calling me. Peace. Hope you enjoy the content. Stay focused, stay safe. And how about them Cowboys? That's what I'm talking about.